Good evening. My name is Issadore McCusker. I'm a graduated student of UW-Marathon County and current student at UW-Stevens Point. I've been published a number of times in UW-Marathon County's magazine. I primarily write fantasy sci-fi prose and sometimes dabble in poetry. For this one, I wrote a fantasy based on the one on the left after figuring out what I was looking at and finding information on I forgot her name, Julie Pfaff's piece, and in the process also the character that I wrote about also unintentionally also said what the name of the piece is and didn't realize it. Quippical Nos III stared at the thing mounted on the wall, struggling to discern what exactly it was. It was his third day coming to the museum, which was featuring a showcase of recently discovered 20th century objects, and he was no closer to any sort of a eureka moment than he had been the day before. Tilting his head one way, he tried once more to look at it from a different angle, but to no avail. Briefly glancing at the card mounted below it, which read late 20th century, followed by a question mark, then use unknown, builder unknown, he huffed, 1,000 years old and as much mystery as the time period it originated in, before going back to studying the thing. Another patron entering her own, Quippico barely gave them a look, even when they stopped a couple inches to his left and began examining the thing mounted on the wall. After a couple of seconds, they casually asked, "What do you suppose it is?" For the briefest moment, Quippico almost shrugged and replied they didn't have the faintest idea what it was. Instead, he peered at the card again, let his eyes rove over the thing, and then said in an offhand manner, I think it's an ancient British whatchamacallit widget. If I had to hazard a guess on its use, I'd say it was used in some ceremony, maybe something similar to the ritual measuring direction of wind from the north, south, west, or east, as he indicated the metal bit mounted atop of it. Interesting, the man muttered, and adjusted his beanikin perched on his nose. And adjusting the beanikin perched on his nose, he leaned closer and squinted at the object. A silence falling between the two, Quippico waited for the other to say something else. When it became apparent the other patron wasn't going to say anything, he returned to his study. Examining the shapes, the colors, and the metal bit attached, he wondered truly what the thing was, what its purpose had been, and who had built it. The other patron drifting off, Quippico found himself glad. It left him time alone to study without having to worry about the possibility of having to discuss with others what his interpretation of the object was. Content to stand there for the rest of the day and only take a break when he felt hungry or needed the kuania, he took a deep breath. Today is the day I have my moment of awakening, he resolved in a confident manner. Today is the day I figure out what exactly this thing is. And focusing on the details, Quippico Nos III carefully scrutinized the piece, waiting for the flash of clarity to come to him.